When I go to pray, I like not to be seen, not to be heard, not to be talked to. And same with when I learn. If I don't close myself, I don't learn. People come to ask me questions, and there's too much afraot. When you put yourself in a corner, then nothing bothers you. Then you really learn.
Which chatayim would Moses break?
Everything.
The top.
There are the worst. You mean? One of them is zera levatala. Any biya asura, any forbidden relation. It's not so common in our day, but people cheat on their wife. They cheat, men and men, women, women. Also, huh?
Being with Goya.
Ooh, it's all under the same category. For being with a Goya, you have to. The major tikkun for the major sins is to getting other people to stop doing it.
The opposite.
Yeah. Like, of course, you stop, but let's say I was Shem Merachem with such and such amount of goyot. My tikkun is to get a person away from his goya friend. קודם כל זה לא לעשות את זה. קודם כל זה לא להיות יותר.
לא, כמובן, אני אומר, זה הדבר הכי טוב שאפשר לעשות, זה להביא מישהו, to convince them,
כן,
לא לעשות את זה?
כן, כן.
What about תיקון הכללי?
Oh.
It's not clean, זרע לבטלה?
Yeah, but it's not enough. You can't just say Tikkun HaKlali every day and say I'm out. Of course, I can give you a whole, menu what to do about Zera Levatara. There's no doubt you do Tikkun HaKlali every day, but a lot of people say, okay, I'll do the Tikkun HaKlali every day. Tonight I'll go out with my Goya, and tomorrow I'll say the Tikkun HaKlali. No. This is just to fix. You know how many times you have to say Tikkun HaKlali to fix the damages? So there's many things a man needs to do to fix the past. But the highest level of fixing is reversing other people doing it. So if a person was with a lot of shiksas, then you have to go and make a lot of other people stop. If a person was doing a lot of ashchatat zera with the internet and this, he has to help other people to get off it. For sure, no doubt to stop himself, but he has to do mikveh every day, no question. Tikkun HaKlali every day. Shir HaShirim every Erev Shabbos. A big sgula is reading Perek Shira every day. There's so many things.
Perek Shira, the whole thing?
Yeah, what is the whole thing? It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Huh? Perek Shira?
We have it here.
It's very short. It takes me maybe, I read it every day when I walk back from shul home. It takes me like 7-8 minutes.
What's the whole secret?
Huh? For the rest of your life. You don't know. Tikkun HaKlali takes literally 7-8 minutes. Mikveh, if you would know what's a mikveh, you would sleep in the mikveh. If you would realize what's a mikveh, you would not go out of the mikveh. We can do one next shiur. I'll teach you everything about mikveh. I promise you that you're going to live in the mikveh if you would know what's a mikveh. But in the general concept of the mikveh, every averah that you do, you bring on your ruach tumah. Even the smallest averah. The little thing, you can be 100% totally frum. You looked for 3 seconds you looked at a beautiful woman, you enjoyed her beauty. For 3 seconds, ruach tumah on your body.
We always have ruach tumah.
Yeah, but so much more, if a person is not religious, there's different levels of ruach tumah. The worst is tumat met. But they also have ruach tumah from biot asurot. You have biot asurot is forbidden relations. But we have ruach tumah from kosher stuff. You eat shkatzim. Kosher is one of the worst ruach tumah that a person can bring on himself. Shkatzim, you eat all sorts of animals that you're not supposed to. No, well, if you eat something kosher, I don't have a problem. But you know how many people, they don't eat meat and dairy, they don't eat all certain animals, but they'll go to a restaurant that doesn't have a good hechsher, and the Puerto Rican in the back doesn't really check the leaves, and you eat in your salad. You hear is a juk, shama is a juk, That's why, kosher is not just the meat and the dairy. Kosher, if you really, this is the secret. If you want to be mamash, perfect ta'or, you become super strict with kosher. To the point that you don't eat any, you go beyond and beyond and beyond. Huh? I eat meat with very, very little. And if I eat meat only from a certain shochet that I know, and a certain type of shchita, the shchita that I eat is actually a Lubavitch shchita. לא רובשקין. Mainly because Lubavitch, בכלל, in Hasidish, also Bet Yosef, they do nikur. They do all sorts of things that most other shochtim, they don't really do. I usually don't try to not eat meat. Because, you know, we're not...
בשבת חייב.
שבת, אני אוכל בשר, yes.
Only because of this?
No, mainly Hechsher. The thing is that even we're not in a generation that our body can actually handle meat too much, and the meat in our generation, especially in America, is injected with all sorts of steroids, with all sorts of proteins, and so the meat will be fat. The meat is not healthy here. My wife buys meat from a grass-fed, a private farm that we know the shochet, that the meat is good. You eat the meat, you're like, wow, this is meat. But most of the meat in this country is bad meat. The chickens are bad. If you see how they grow them, yeah, yeah. That's why you have to be very strict with your diet. And all these things, they mess up with your brain. Yeah.
One more question. Can we touch the hair of the child before 3 years?
You?
Can we cut the hair of child? Boy.
Before 3-year-old? The thing is that it's not a halacha. It's a minhag. But the Arizal was so machmir about it that, again, if you want to go by halacha, you have no problem. It's not a halacha.
make shalom bayit issue.
אבל תמיד הולכים לרבי מאיר בעל הנפש.
זהו. The Arizal made a whole Indian with this whole thing. He didn't let anyone, if anybody would come to him and talk to him about the hair, don't touch the hair. That's the Arizal. But it's not a halacha. What's the reason? There's simple reasons you can understand, but like other reasons, other mitzvot that we don't have a reason, you don't really understand it. There's a certain kedusha that the child has. It comes in the hair. Hair, bechlal, in Torah Chassidut, hair is a very, very special thing. That's why women cover their hair. That's why men don't touch the hair. Hair is a very se'arot in Kabbalah. The whole musag, se'ar, it signifies something very, very big. For Hashem to create the world, he had to do a tzimtzum. He had to contract the light. And the biggest contracting, the biggest tzimtzum had to be to remove the Or Ein Sof and to remove infinite and to create in it a finite existence. So the tzimtzum, the contraction, had to be the most strongest tzimtzum. And it corresponds to our hairs in this world. Everything in this world is a chain reaction, a shalshalut. What we have here originated in above. So what we see here, the lowest level of chayut in our body is hair. Hair and nails. It's alive, hair grows and nail grows, but the chayut, the amount of life force in it is so minimum that you can cut the hair, you don't feel it. So this corresponds to the highest level of tzimtzum eloki because it was in the level of removing the infinite, the infinite, and bringing in it the finite. It's two complete contradictions. Having something that it's infinite and finite at the same time. This is like the highest level of elokut. And dafka, the se'arot, comes from that. There's a concept in Kabbalah. Ma yored mala, ma mala mala, yored mata mata. Whatever goes all the way down, whatever you see in this world that is in the lowest, it originated in the highest. So the lowest part in the body that has the least chayut is hair. And it means that what the hair originates from, it originates from the highest level. That's why women cover the hair, they can't allow even to see a piece of the hair. That's why we don't cut the beard. You asked before about the beard. This is another reason. There's such a tzimtzum in the hair that it originates from such a high source. So the same thing with the kid. I'm not a mikubal to explain to you, but there's something in the sarot, in the hairs of the child, that the Arizal was like fanatic, don't dare touch it. And
Only for child.
yeah,
Because
till the 3 years old.
it's most of the good.
The what?
We need to cut ourselves.
Yeah, man has to go. A man is good to constantly shave his head, not to have too much hair and have a haircut. It's not good. The klipot they grab on the hair.
Why people don't do it on the child hair?
Why? Because a child is kadosh. He doesn't have a sin. It's pure, totally pure. Yeah, we're talking about a 3-year-old.
Okay.
Child is kadosh, a yeled is kadosh. If you want something to happen, you bring why did, for example, Mordechai, how did he break the gzerah? He brought all the kids. He didn't tell the people to do tshuva. He told the people, go and fast. But he brought the kids, Tinokot Shel Bet Rabban, he put them in one big synagogue and made them say Divrei Torah. Their mouth is so holy. Kids are holy. Kids doesn't have a sin. A 3-year-old is a kadosh. He can't do a sin. So his hair is totally holy. Now, if you have an issue with Shlom Bayit, if a wife wants to cut the hair, Shlom Bayit is more important than Kabbalistic explanations on the hair. You go to a Rav and you tell the Rav what's the problem, and the Rav tells you it's fine. It's not a halacha. It's not a sin. You have nothing to worry about. If you need to cut the hair because the wife is crazy about it and she doesn't want the hair for whatever reason, Shlom Bayit is more important. Oh, if it's just for that, you put the hair in the ponytail on the top and he'll be fine, or you turn the air conditioning on. If it's something minor, don't take the kedusha from the kid. According to Kabbalah, everything that you do has a reaction, an act. The more kedusha you take away from a kid, when he grows up, he's lacking it. It's harder for him to do avodat Hashem. That's why, bechlal, when a husband and wife are together to do a child, the more the act is in kedusha, the more kadosh the child goes out. That's why sometimes you see these big rabbanim, the children are more like malachim. Why? Because when they conceived, it was 100% kosher, not one little not kosher thing in it. And the thing is, when the husband is doing the mitzvah, he's cooking the sperm. The sperm comes from the brain. And when he's about to finish, the sperm comes from the brain, out from the spine, all the way down the spine, through the organ, and goes out. And the father is the mochin. We can do a whole shiur about that too. The father creates all the levushim of the child. The mother is bina. She creates she cooks the body for 9 months, but the father cooks it in his brain for 2-3 minutes. What the father is saying, thinking, or doing during the act, you can't even imagine. And the father dresses the neshama with all the levushim. So if the father is now picturing in his mind, I'm going to go to talk a little bit more free. If the father in his mind is picturing the act and all the good things that are going around it, he's dressing the kid with levushim tzoim, with disgusting garments. And if the father during the act is not looking at his wife, he's not doing it to enjoy, he's doing it because he's bringing a neshama up from Shamayim, and his mind is somewhere else. He's thinking divrei Torah. You think of many things. There's a lot of things to think. You'll laugh, but it sounds when I'm cooking my child.
It's complicated.
It's not complicated. If you know, the thing is like this. You have to deal with a child for at least 20 years to lechanech oto, to bring him up. So it's 5 minutes of cooking the right levushim. You have a child that is easy to raise.
I see that too.
Now the thing is, if the father is thinking during the acts, when I'm cooking a child, I'm thinking I'm memorizing in my mind ma'amarim shel Chasidut, and I see with my children. I know where I feel when the child comes down. If you elevate to a nice level, you feel the sperm coming out of your brain, and you feel when it's a child.
First of all, when you do mitzvah, you don't know it's going to happen now.
Nachon. That's why you have to constantly.
2 years.
The only time that one would maybe allow you not to concentrate is when the wife is already pregnant, and even then you still have to lekadesh tatzmecha. But you don't know when your wife is getting pregnant, so every time you have to liot kadosh.
When you went in the building, right?
It's not simple to be a Jew.
You probably solved it. My question is, this is what you understand. When we're in the bed with our wife, is it possible that when someone's flying, like you were flying, can enter into that baby?
No. But I'll tell you who's standing next to the bed. Lamed Yud Taf is standing next to the bed waiting for one drop to come out. That's why Lishpoch Zera Levatala is not only sitting and watching a movie or going with a goya or whatever. Is how you with your wife. Because Lamed Yud is standing there.
But it's okay if it leaks out after.
There's all sorts of halachot. You need to know the halachot. If it leaks out after the act and the manly organ is already down, no problem. But you have to be very careful because you don't know what's the drop that is real and what's the drop that comes out, because the woman takes the kedusha. So the water The sperm comes in water. The water that leaks out, that's fine. But unfortunately, every time a husband and wife are together, now you think that she's a freirit, this Satan. If you go into a mind of a robber, where will he go to rob? He was going to go to rob a house in Great Neck, or is he going to go to rob a house in Harlem? No, of course he's going to go to Great Neck. There's jewelry and TVs and everything. The same with the klippah. You think the klippah is going to go to a rasha? There's no kedusha there. The klippah goes dafka to where the kedusha is, because there's meat there. So Lamed Yud is standing next to the bed every time the husband and wife are together, and she's waiting just for one drop to come out, and then she grabs it. And she takes this drop and gets pregnant with it, and brings down to this world a demon, shed. A shed. That's why you have all the terrorists that blowing themselves up. They're shedim, they're not human. And Lamed Yud is standing next to the bed waiting for the husband to pull out and to steal one drop. So the act with the husband and wife, that's why you have to have the right preparation, you have to wash your hands, there's so many things the Zohar says, there's also psukim from the Zohar that you have to say. If you want to do it 100%, this... Huh?
We'll have a class.
It's not like throwing your wife on bed and yalla, it doesn't work like that. This is a holy act. Why is it considered such a bad thing? Because this is the only mitzvah that Hashem makes you a partner. That Hashem gives you godly power. Hashem makes you Elokah. You have the power to create life. Can you imagine? And if you go and mashchit it, you ruin it? Why? It's like your father giving you the keys to the brand new Mercedes. Well, if you put one scratch on it, don't come home even. So this is al chat kama vekama. Hashem tells you, I'm making you now a partner here. You going and messing it all up. That's why, you see in the Torah every time that it came to that thing, even now with Zimri and his girlfriend. Oh, Chamator, the worst came out. Every time the Zima in the Torah, you see, what did Balak said? Bilam wasn't able to curse them. So he said, creator Shalem, the boss Shalem, their Elokah hates Zima. Let's go and send all the girls to them. This is the worst thing, that Hashem hates the worst, because He gives you the keys to the safe. I'm making you now a God. You can create now humans. And you can't go and now to reverse it. So when you're doing the whole act, you have to have the right mind. When I was preparing when I was a Chatan and I went to my Rav, you know what he told me? You think when your wife goes to the mikveh, you study Zohar all night. You study Chassidut, that when your wife comes, you don't look at her body. Your mind is like flying somewhere, Bechlal in Shamayim. Of course, you have to enjoy it. Your wife has to enjoy it. But you have to know where is the line, that you're not letting yourself too much to go, because every little thing here, 5 minutes of pleasure and 20 years of headache from your child that is dressed in these levushim, and it's not fair for the child. Why do you think people who are balei tshuvot, they come from horim that I can't even imagine how my parents conceived me? They give you the levushim. Then you have to deal with this. You have to deal with all this yetzer hara constantly and all these machshavot zarot. Where do you think it comes from? It comes from the levushim your parents gave it. Yeah. So when you are with your wife, you want to make sure that everything is pure, you're saying the right thing, you're thinking the right thing. He's still on the line? The act is right. You don't want to be, sisu v'simchu. It's sad because you're like, the best thing out of life you're taking away. When I first became religious, I thought, I'm going to have my wife. Everything's back to normal. My rabbi told me, no, you got it all wrong. That's not how it works. You bring your partner now with Hashem, you bring in neshamot into the world. And how you cook them, how you conceive them, you are designing the neshama, you dressing the soul right now. You, the father, not the mother. The mother can think whatever she wants. Because she's if you want to go in the level of Kabbalah, the father is the mochin, his chokhmah is the av, the mother is bina, she's the em, and then there's the yichud zun, there's the connection. How do you say yichud? Is the unity. The father is the one who brings the chokhmah over. The woman takes it, puts it in her body, and starts cooking it for 9 months. But the father has 5-10 minutes to concentrate the right way, and he's designing the neshama. Not only that, The higher the father reaches, the higher he pulls down a neshama from a higher place. So you see sometimes certain individual, I know one guy where I live, you look at him, he looks to you like a malach. You see his kids, you never seen anything like it. Pure, you see the face, like, you know, you can't even, you see malachim. So, you know, that's why the Arizal says, even in the little things, dafka in the little things, don't give discounts, because you say, oh, the boy sweats so he'll sweat for a year, but he'll be kadosh for the rest of his life. So you put the ponytail up on the top, whatever, he's a boy, he doesn't care if he sweats. Put the air conditioning on, it's shaveh. If you're saying, okay, I'm not so particular, according to halacha, you have no problem, you can cut the hair. But if you want to be, why do we have Kabbalah in our generation? Why do we have Zohar? Why do we have Chassidut? Because without the Pnimiut Torah, the Torah is not worth anything. The reason why it wasn't taught for so many years, there's a reason for that. But Dafka in our generation, Dafka we have to learn Pnimiut Torah.
But if